For the beginning of our project, just kind of thinking about pretty much how we're going to make the levels, what assets we're going to need, voice acting, pretty much all the side stuff along with the main component.
So the concept of the design is where we have this guy who I guess is an easier way to say that he's trying to put his life back together. So we're going through a maze like of mirrors where the mirrors reflect on what's actually there that the guy can't really see in the real world. I guess the difficult part that I see is more of creating the mirrors himself to actually show what's there and what's not. I mean, it sounds easy because Unity, you can turn off meshes and whatnot, but the biggest concern is like, how can it show something that is there versus what's not there?
When we started making our paper prototype, we didn't really know how to set it up because since our game is basically a first person game that is pretty much a puzzle that you can't really fail, we had a lot of trouble making it into a playable game. But once we started making the paper prototype, we didn't really solve problem like we didn't solve the problems we originally had, but we did figure out like new things to put into the final product with that.
My role of the group is more of an animator. I prefer more of the animation and the character design. I'm actually creating the main character and I'm in charge of creating the actual model using Maya. Biggest challenge would be to actually create the faces first because I've learned so many times that if you don't create the head and then import it to the body and you just do everything all at once trying to rig everything in the animation never fully works out. So that's my biggest part of the challenge.
So I guess with any game, you have to really figure out what's gonna go, like what's gonna work and how well it's gonna work. And since we've already worked together as a group, we kind of know our own workflows. And usually we just start out really slow, but as soon as we really get our pace going, it starts speeding up like a lot. For contributing stuff, I pretty much just helped with a bit of everything, not so much of the programming side, but with storyline, animation, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know personally. Like illusion is like one of the greatest things for animation. You never really get to show everything that's going on in that animation. You see cartoons or movies that only show certain portions of the body. So I mean, you assume that everything is perfectly fine. I mean, it could be true, but then there's also the chance that whatever you see doesn't show that your character or whatever is having a seizure attack or something, but you only see a part of the body that acts normal. So like your character could be spazzing, but as long as you show a certain portion, it'll be fine. So like I feel that is probably the easiest way to get this game through, where it does look like a mirror. The thing could show what's going on, or it could be the fact that it's two identical rooms where only certain objects are there. You put a box collider there and just parent an image of the person doing nearly the same exact thing.
I guess since we started using Unity, it was a little daunting at first since we really didn't know how we are going to use it. But I guess we all came together and thought we didn't really know how to use the programs when we started learning like modeling altogether. But as soon as we started getting into it, it started coming easier to us. So I wasn't too afraid of it. And we just really want to get into it and try out a bunch of things to basically come up with a bunch of new ideas that would work well with our game.
This is actually like not my first time seeing Unity. I mean, I've seen Unity. This is like the actual in-depth version that we're using with Unity to create this game. It's very easy to set up the simple animations and stuff like that. Like importing the objects, placing them where you need them, the lighting, how to create up the scenery. The hard part I'm having with understanding is the JavaScript type of thing, where you have to script everything so that way all animations or all items follow what you need them to do when certain situations happen. Luckily, we have a programmer on the staff